So, let's go back to 2009. A guy named George Fan released a game called Plants vs. Zombies. It was very simplistic. Collect sun, plant plants, kill zombies, complete levels to get more plants, rinse and repeat until you've beaten Dr. Zomboss himself. The team wasn't that big. There were few developers and one music composer, Laura Shigihara. I probably said that wrong. But it was a simple game caused a worldwide phenomenon. But how? In this video, we will be talking about the history of the PVZ franchise and how it still holds up to this day. Let's get into it. Like I said in the intro, Plants vs. Zombies is not a very complex game, and I think that's why the first game got so much traction. Kids could understand how to play it, and adults could also play and enjoy it. There wasn't just a story mode, however. There were 3 other modes: minigames, survival, and puzzle mode. After you beat the story mode for the first time, you unlock the Zen Garden, a place where you can relax and not worry about zombies and just water your plants and feed them plant food. Another key factor is that it was almost on everything: PC, mobile, Xbox, Nintendo DS, and much, much more. I played the hell out of Plants vs. Zombies on my DS when I was younger. I was going to get footage for the mobile version, but the mobile version is such a microtransaction mess that I'd rather get the footage from my DS. The game was so successful, and its replayability kept people coming back. But then something happened. EA bought PopCap and laid off George Fan. Fans were scared about this, and they had a lot to worry because PVZ 2 got announced right afterwards. If you somehow haven't heard of EA, they are so money hungry and focus more on microtransactions than their actual game. Then, on August 15, 2013, Plants vs. Zombies 2 had been released to the public. In my opinion, PVZ 2 is good, but worse than the original. The puzzle mode is reduced to vase breakers, survival and all the minigames are completely removed. You can't get all the plants in the game without money. You have to pay to get a small amount of them, but it is possible to beat the game without them. There's a lot of good though. There are way more plants in this game than the original and new mechanics as well. If I'm going to be honest, this game gets way too much hate. It isn't that bad if you just ignore the microtransactions, and it still has most of the mechanics of the original. That pretty much is being plant, sun, kill zombies, you know what I'm talking about. But EA wanted to expand, and they thought plant, zombie, but they can walk. So, perhaps they made the weirdest turn that they made in their franchise. They turned a simple tower defense game into a third-person shooter. Introducing Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare. And although this was a super weird turn, this game is super good. There are 2 teams, zombies and plants. They get thrown into a map and kill each other. The first team to 50 kills wins. Well, that's Team Vanquish. There are a couple more modes that I shall go over. There's Garden Ops. You are in the plants and you must defend your garden from waves of zombies. On the 5th and 10th wave, there will be a boss wave where 3 bosses will come out to fight you. Gardens and graveyards. Plants will have to defend their garden from the zombies, who are trying to capture it. Zombies win by capturing all the gardens, and the plants win when the zombies have time to capture a garden runs out. Gnome Bomb. One team must capture a gnome and place it on the opposite team's garden or graveyard. A team wins when all the gardens or graveyards are destroyed. Taco Bandit. One team has to get the taco and return it to their side to get a point. The team with the most points before the time runs out wins. Suburbanation. One team has to capture objectives that generate points. First team to 100 points wins. Those are pretty much all the original game modes. Now let's go over to the classes. There are 4 classes for each side, and we're going to start with the plants. Pea Shooter. Shoots peas that do pretty good damage at all ranges, but can only shoot 1 pea at a time. The Sunflower. The plant's version of a healer. Chomper. The close range melee attacker. Cactus, the sniper/scout. Now let's do the zombies. The Soldier, the assault class, and my favorite class in the first Garden Warfare. The Engineer. If a pea shooter and cactus had a baby, it would make the Engineer. He shoots like a pea shooter, but has the ability similar to a cactus. Fun fact, he got a rework in the second Garden Warfare game, but more on that later. Scientist, the zombies version of a healer. The All-Star, a tank class that has high damage and high health but moves slow. Now we can go into the best part about Garden Warfare, the variants for each class. All variants change up the class in some way, could be minor or major. Want your soldier to shoot ice balls that can freeze plants? That's a variant. You want a sunflower that shoots electricity? Guess what? That's a variant for the sunflower. Do you want a chomper that looks like Chester Cheetah? Well, that's a variant as well. You can buy the variants with coins you get for playing along with hats and other customization. And that's Garden Warfare 1 summarized. It is super good, and normally I would tell you to play it, but then in 2016 a sequel to Garden Warfare 1 was made called Garden Warfare 2. Very original name. This game was amazing and I still play it to this day. Let's go over everything that was added in this game. There are 6 new classes. We'll start with the plants first again. The Citron, the defensive class for the plants. The Citron can turn into a ball and roll away for a tiny extra speed. Kernel Corn, my favorite plant class. The Heavy Gunner who, in the background gameplay, I'm playing as him right now. Rose, a support class that you won't get much kills with, but you'll get assist after assist after assist. Now let's go over to the zombie classes. Captain Deadbeard, the sniper class for the zombies with a twist. When the gun isn't aiming, it turns into a shotgun that uses slightly more ammo but does more damage. Super Brands, a melee class that when you aim in, you can make a laser that doesn't do much damage but can finish plants at low health. The Imp, my favorite zombie class. A low health but very powerful and fast class that can summon a mech that does insane damage for a limited time. The game introduced a few more game modes that I will go over quickly. Kill Confirm, pretty much Team Vanquish, but you have to pick up orbs that get dropped from the enemies to count it to the score. First team to collect 50 orbs wins. Graveyard Ops, Garden Ops, but you pretty much play as zombies. Mystery Portal. This one doesn't really count, but every week there's a special game mode that you can play to earn rainbow stars. More on those later. There's a new kind of rarity called legendaries that are normal variants, but if you get enough kills, you activate an ability that usually speeds you up and increases your damage. However, you have to pay a stupid amount of coins for half of the character piece. Half! Not even the full character. In this game, there's a story mode that was pretty good and featured special gameplay that you couldn't get anywhere else. After you finish the story, you unlock Infinity, where you're a robot cat or a robot dinosaur trying to kill gnomes and get time shards. Or if you get enough time shards, you can get some really good stuff, like legendary character pieces or really rare customization. There's one major DLC called the Trials of Nomus, where once you complete all of the trials, you can unlock 2 new classes, the Hovergoat and Torchwood. It's a very complicated, and a link to a guide on how to complete them is in the description if you want to check it out. But most of you probably don't play this game, so I'm just going to move on to the next part. I'm going to go over to the classes very quickly for you. A Torchwood, super overpowered class that should be deleted. I hate this with all of my might. Hovergoat, a zombie support class that can buff people's attack and speed and is actually balanced. These classes never got variants, which I'm thankful for. Just imagine a toxic Torchwood variant for everyone who plays Garden Warfare 2. Alright, back to the video. There are 2 special stars you can get. Quest stars and rainbow stars. Quest stars you can get for doing quests on the quest board, and you can buy chests scattered across the map or trade them in for rainbow stars. With rainbow stars you can buy special rainbow chests that usually have pretty good cosmetics or keys for the Trials of Nomus. More on that in the description to that video. There's a lot more I could talk about, like the Flag of Power, free play, or just the backyard battleground, but since I don't want this video to be 40 minutes long, I'm going to talk about Battle for Neighborville. Garden Warfare, sadly, doesn't get any updates anymore, and that's because PopCap wanted to focus their team on this game called Battle for Neighborville, and I hate it with a passion. Imagine Garden Warfare, but remove everything that made Garden Warfare fun. Battle for Neighborville is the game I'm talking about right here. I personally never bought the game, but my friend had it when it first came out, and I played it at his house a lot. So I kind of own the game, kind of don't. I'm going to go over the reasons why I hate this game. 1. This is the most important one. They removed all variants. What made the Garden Warfare game special were the variants, and when you take them out, the game just gets a lot more lifeless and boring. 2. Battle for Neighborville is sort of like Overwatch. Every character is good at one thing, and if you try and hit something else with that character, you're gonna die. 3. There are multiple characters that are OP yet still haven't gotten any or major nerfs. The hub area is just way too big and spread out. I don't want to walk 4 miles to get one thing, then walk all the way back across the hub. And that's pretty much it for Battle for Neighborville. Like I said, I didn't own the game. I just played it for a few times at a friend's house, and that made me not want to buy it. It's $20 right now, which is insane for a game that's only been out for like a year. I don't recommend to buy it, and I recommend just to buy Garden Warfare 2 instead. That's a way better game. Next, I'm going to talk about 2 short games that I don't really like either of them. So, first one is PVZ Heroes. Next, we have PVZ Heroes. That game is a card game that I couldn't get into, but there's lots of people who did, and it looks pretty decent in my opinion, but like I said, I couldn't really get into it. Then we have PVZ 3. It still isn't available in my country, so I can't give my opinions on the game. However, I've seen other people play it, and by the looks of it, it just looks bad, and I hate it. From the looks of it anyways. These modern PVZ games have been trash as of lately, like Battle for Neighborville and Plants vs. Zombies 3. The only hope for the franchise is if they make a new Garden Warfare game with variants or come up with something that isn't a tower defense game or a shooter. Now we have to answer the question, does the PVZ franchise still hold up? Well, Garden Warfare 2 and the original PVZ is a yes, but this franchise is barely holding on. PVZ 2 was mediocre and Battle for Neighborville is just awful. PVZ 3 also looks bad. I still have some hope for the franchise, but if they keep making bad games, the franchise will die faster than famous rap stars. Thank you all so much for watching. This took more time than I expected to make, and I think I'm going to try to upload 1 video a week instead of 2. If I do upload a second video, it's going to be short and simple. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. It helps small creators like me out a ton. And if you like my content in general, subscribe. And I have all my social medias linked in the description. I'm starting a TikTok. That'll be cool. I have Discord, so if you want to join my Discord server, that's also pretty cool. So, anyways, I'm out. See y'all in the next video, and have a great day.